Hey everybody, it's Tim hitting the beast of the marching arts. Thank you so much for watching. This is Marching Roundtable Live, and I'm here with one of our best supporters and biggest fans, Chaz Waldrip. How are you, Chaz?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for being here to talk to me. So everybody, we are going to be talking a little bit about the Marching Roundtable, why Chaz is a listener, why he keeps listening after all these years, a little bit about him. We're going to be talking a little bit about our excitement for the upcoming DCI season. We'll probably throw that in too. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. Let me know where you're watching and what you'd like to hear. So Chaz, we're going to start, but I'm just going to have you introduce yourself, just about your name, who you are, what you do, why you like the podcast, that kind of thing.
Hey, my name is Chaz. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina most of the time. Right now, I'm in Orlando. My youngest daughter got married Friday a week ago, and Tim was a part of that wedding and a very contributed to that wedding. He wasn't there, but he was a part of it. But I've been a tuba player since 7th grade, so it's been well over 50 years. Been a band dad. This is now my 20th year of band dadding, and started listening to the podcast in I think 2015 when I was on the road full time looking for things to listen to while I was driving. Stumbled across it, really liked what I heard, and had I think listened to every episode since I started sometime in early 2015, and decided to become a supporter of the channel because I really believe in what Tim and his team does. It's so much great information, keeps me connected with an activity that I really love and want to know more about all the time. So just, like I said in my little plug I did one time, it's the top of the list for my things to listen to on my road trip.
Well, thank you, Chaz, for those kind words. Appreciate you listening. Listen, everybody, if he's listened to most every episode, that's pretty amazing. You know, Chaz, most people, a lot of people do listen to a lot of stuff, but a lot of people have their thing, like they're a percussionist, so they really listen to the drum stuff, or they're a visual person or a color guard person. So we understand, everybody, that there are probably going to be some certain things certain topics that people like. So we try to do stuff about everything. There's so many different angles to this. So Chaz, you were a tuba player. How did you decide to play tuba back in the day?
Well, I started the band in 7th grade in Albany, Georgia at McIntosh Junior High School. That's junior high was 7th, 8th, and 9th grade back then, and that's when we started. And we took some kind of aptitude test. I don't remember what. And my aptitude was for euphonium or tuba. And the band had 2 euphoniums and 2 tubas, and the first 2 guys picked euphonium, so I picked tuba, and loved it ever since. And the funny thing is, when I went home and told my mom, I'm going to play tuba in the band, and she said, "But you're so little." Hey, thanks, Mom.
Well, but that is something people think of. Of course, you grew into it, and everybody, yep. There's a picture attached to this conversation of you with your daughter in the tuba bell. So do you want to explain how that came about? I'm sure she was crawling around and just ended up there, I hope.
Well, yeah, just fooling around. Actually, there's a picture of both my daughters in my tuba. I couldn't find the other one. I think it's on my hard drive back in Charlotte. But yeah, it's just, goofing around. They make great tuba mutes, kids do. So
that's fantastic. Well, I love that picture. So let's talk a little bit about you. You mentioned that you like the podcast. When you're driving, what are you doing when you're driving? Tell me about that.
What I do for work?
Yeah, like what kind of you've driven. I know you've driven those big semis for drum course before, which I think is really interesting. So why don't you talk about that part?
Well, I drive, I've driven for the Scouts, the Troopers, the Colts, and now I'm driving for Carolina Crown, just short periods of time, kind of a fill-in driver. But my full-time job is I'm director of transportation for a commercial real estate development company. And that means I drive their bus. We have a 45-foot executive coach that we use as our mobile office when we're looking for sites to develop around. So, but in 2015, I was driving for another company full-time all over the country by myself. And so I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and Marching Roundtable made the miles go by fast. And I listen to everything. Of course, there's some of the stuff about old shows people reminisce about, and the stuff pertaining to brass and marching in high schools I tend to listen to more. But also I get a lot out of the podcasts that feature winter guard and percussion, because I'm not that into those and don't know that much about it. So I get a lot from almost everything I hear that comes across the Marching Roundtable channel.
Well, thank you so much for listening and for being a supporter all these years. So tell me about, you have any favorite episodes, or you remember any specific moments from all these podcasts you've listened to that Something so crazy, you almost ran off the road or something.
Well, anytime Michael Cesario was on, it's always a blast. And I was like, I really enjoyed your conversations you had with Joe Allison over the years. He just seemed to be so wise and be such an enthusiastic, supportive of the activity all around. And really enjoyed the podcast with a couple of guys reminiscing about him just a few episodes ago. And I went back to the archives, found the one. There's a couple of episodes on the Velvet Knights, one of my favorite cores from way back when. And anytime you talk about any of the old drum corps shows, I really enjoy that. I've been lucky enough to participate in a couple. The one on 93 Star of Indiana, one of my favorites, and I got to talk about all the old Crown shows that I'm really fond of. So it's just whatever comes up that really interests me, I really enjoy.
Well, thank you for being a part of some of those podcasts. Everybody, if you want to hear Chaz on the podcast, just put Chaz into the search bar, and I guarantee it will pop right up, and you'll be able to find those episodes. And thank you, Chaz, for doing that. You've also been a supporter over the years. So if somebody's listening, you're thinking, well, maybe I would like to support, become a member of the website or support the podcast. Why would you tell them to do that?
Well, it's so much information for so little money. It's, you can donate from just a few cents a month up to however much you want to contribute. But it's just, it's cheaper than a magazine. Like you said, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee at a Starbucks once a month. And it's just so much information, especially if you're a music educator. I'm just kind of a fan and a tuba player, but I get a lot out of it. And I imagine what the whole website, the Marching Arts Education website, provides for the music educators out there is just amazing. And I think it's just a great deal. And I really believe in what you're doing. It's what, it's my passion as well. And to be able to stay connected this way is really makes it easy to keep a handle on what's going on in the activity.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for that. So you mentioned your daughter, Hannah, who just got married. Congratulations, Hannah, and congratulations to you, Chaz. It looks like that went off well. I was glad I could be a very small part of that wedding. I arranged something that you played with her, which was pretty amazing. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, Hannah, I was trying to think of, what can I do special at Hannah's wedding, and she approached me and said she's a horn player. She played all through college, high school, college, and now plays in the Manhattan Wind Ensemble in New York City, where she works and lives. And she said, why don't we do, instead of a father-daughter dance at the reception, let's do a father-daughter horn tuba duet. And she wanted to do May You Never Walk Alone, which, has a double meaning for us, because one of the activities we love to do together is just walk all over the place, either when she's here, when we're together here in Orlando, or when I'm in New York City, we just go all over. And also, we're both big drum corps geeks. She was a part of the drum corps recap this past year, right after the DCI celebration. And so that's great. And I thought, well, who can, I looked for some arrangements online, and of course there's nothing out there. So I called my buddy Tim and said, I got a special commission. he came up with a great arrangement. And so that's what we did. We kind of kept it a secret. Not too many people knew that's what we were going to do. And it was a big hit. And,
I think it's
a very special and unique moment.
Yeah, well, no doubt about that. I've never heard of anything like it. And you sent me the recording, and you guys did a wonderful, wonderful job. What was the reaction? I wasn't there, and for that. So when how did people react? Did you say, "Oh, now we're going to do this," or did you just grab your horn to start to play? Like, how did that go?
We got kind of a nice introduction by Hannah's mom, and she just sort of kind of led into I don't sing, I don't dance, and so here's what we do together. But then we got a standing ovation at the end, and everybody came up to both of us all during the rest of the reception, talking about how great they thought it was. It really was a special and unique moment, and it's on a special and unique day.
Well, and I know Hannah is really impressive already, but I got to tell you, I think on my wedding day, I just don't know if I would have the bandwidth to pull out a great horn solo. I just think that's especially impressive, and I especially think it's impressive for you too, Chaz.
She was completely cold too. I mean, she walked over. She just done her mother-daughter dance. Walked over and picked the horn up out of the case, and away we went. I mean, at least I had to put my horn on in another room because I had the little baby Bjorn thing that I had to put it in, and so I had a minute to at least blow air in the horn. And so I came from the back of the room, and she was already in the front of the room, and away we went. But she's a phenomenal young lady.
No, very impressive. And that was wonderful. And it's such a memorable thing. Nobody will forget, they probably wouldn't forget the wedding anyway, but they certainly are going to remember that really special moment. And I'm so think it's very cool that you guys did that. You mentioned that you and Han were both on our, what was it, 2020 DCI celebration wrap up, where you guys were there and we did some conversations about it and you recorded some things about it. That was really, really cool. Are you excited about Drum Corps this year? I'm sure
Oh,
you
yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
So it's a big 50th anniversary. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking there's going to be some great shows and some wonderful, entertainment. And I'm going to go out the first week when Crown goes up to Muncie, do the Muncie show, the Akron show, and then bring them back to Fort Mill. And hopefully I can be out with them a little bit more in the summer. Hannah is they weren't able to do their honeymoon because her new husband had to go right back to school Monday after the wedding. But so between summer semester and fall semester, they're going to go to Scotland, which means they won't be here during finals. But we're maybe go to Allentown because it's easy to get there from New York City, and we've done that several times in the past. And I hope to be at finals as well.
That's very cool. I got to tell you, Allentown is a special environment. Anybody that's watching, if you have not been to those 2 nights of shows in Allentown, there's just so much DCI history there. I've only been there. Well, I marched there, but I've only been there as a spectator one other time. And I just remember it was really special.
Yeah, we've been there several times, when both Leonore and Hannah lived there. We went there 2 or 3 times, and then it's been a while since we've been. We missed the last several years because something else is going on, but like to get back up there this summer.
Yeah, and I believe it or not, Chaz, I mean, I marched a really long time ago, but I still remember marching in that stadium. There's certain stadiums that I just remember. You just remember being and you remember marching into. I'll never forget marching into Whitewater the first time.
Yeah,
with the regiment, and that was super cool. So.
Yeah, and I probably was at several shows you performed at because I was at finals starting in '79. And haven't missed one.
I was on the field starting in 1980, so you probably saw me out there. So anyway, it's good times. I'm very excited about the 50th anniversary. By the way, you mentioned you love talking about old corps. One of the things we're doing here at the Marching Roundtable is we're doing a series this summer where we're going to talk about corps that we love that unfortunately are no longer with us. So we've already recorded a conversation about the Glassmen. We're recording one actually tomorrow night about the Skyriders with a bunch of alumni, and they're going to talk about what the Corps meant to them and what it was like to march in the Skyriders.
That's cool.
And we have some other ones planned as well, which I'm not going to mention yet. But if you're watching this and by chance you were in a Corps that is no longer out there and you have some friends who could get together and talk about your experience of marching, please contact me. You can reach me at the website or just tim@marchingroundtable.com. Chad, it's going to be fun to talk about those old Corps that we love.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that then. Yeah, I love some of the shows the Skyriders did when they were prominent. And so I'm looking forward to that. The Glassmen were always had some entertaining shows over the years. And
there are some things in that Glassman conversation I can tell you that will surprise you. They will surprise everybody that's listening, things that I never imagined they would say. So it was really, really interesting. So everybody watch for that series. Actually coming up really soon. I think the Glassman one may be out next week. Is it next week or the week after? Anyway, coming up really soon, everybody. Chaz, we need to finish this conversation. Thank you so much for talking to me again. Thank you for listening to so many podcasts, for being such a supporter. You've said so many kind words to me over the years of how much you've enjoyed it. What would you want to say as we're closing this?
Well, thank you, Tim, for what you do. I mean, it's just, I'm just always amazed at the output, the product that you put out there all the time. I mean, it's, like I said it before, when do you sleep? Because there's just so much material and content, and it's also enjoyable. So thank you for what you've done for this activity.
Well, very nice of you to say that. I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I get to talk to all these really smart, talented, generous people, and they're so nice to stop everything and talk and talk about their show or talk about their work or share what they know with other people who are learning. It makes me, makes you feel good about, you start to wonder about humankind sometimes. And then you meet these people and they're so nice and they're doing such great work for so many young students, and it just makes you feel good.
Yeah. There's all those legends out there, and this activity has provided so much for me, being a musician, a tuba player, music is a universal language. You can go anywhere, not know anybody in the room, but make art together. That's just what's so great about music. And I feel so gifted that I'm still able to play, still able to pick the tuba up and make it to a couple of ensembles that I still play in.
Well, I think it's great that you're still playing. Everybody, get your horn out of the closet, join one of your local ensembles or community bands all over everywhere. and get playing and keep playing like Chaz. Chaz, thank you for talking to me. This was really, really fun. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Tim, for asking me. I enjoyed it.
Thanks everybody for watching.